All rise. Judge Vanderbeek Court now in session. Judge, this is case number JVB 1003, Carrera versus Carrera.
Thank you. You all may be seated. Okay, Mr. Carrera,
Yes.
you brought this case before the court. What's going on?
Yes. So I brought this case before you because I'm currently paying for extracurricular activities for our daughter.
Okay.
And it's a little bit more money than I thought it was going to be. So I would like my wife, Sheila, to reimburse me for it.
Okay. So you guys are separated?
Yes.
Okay. What type of extracurricular activities is the child involved?
So our daughter's very big into sports.
Okay.
So she plays soccer and, you know, it's just like the cost of cleats, the cost of like gloves, because she plays goalie. It's just a lot of upkeep for me, and she makes more money than I do. So I kind of want help with it.
Okay. I see here, ma'am, from the tax returns that you make about $100,000 a year.
Yes, ma'am.
From the very beginning, this case has been heated. Ms. Golden, a bartender and single mother, has brought Mr. Jaleel Scott to court, accusing him of being dishonest about his income and avoiding financial responsibility for their son, Henry.ms. Golden claims that Mr. Scott earns significantly more than the $40,000 he has reported and insists she has concrete evidence to prove it. She alleges that he frequently flaunts large amounts of cash at strip clubs and on social media. According to her, these displays contradict the modest income he claims. On the other hand, Mr. Scott argues that he was misled from the start. He contends that their relationship began under false pretenses, suggesting that he was set up during Super Bowl weekend, involving a bottle of Hennessy, which ultimately led to the birth of their son 9 months later. He maintains that the money seen in those social media posts belongs to his friends, not him, and asserts that he earns a modest living as a barber. Now, the court must determine who is telling the truth.
Court was not previously ordered.
Yes.
Okay. So are you guys in agreement to do that? Or you don't want to pay child support? What's going on?
I don't think it's necessary. We split her 50-50. She's at my house just as much. She's with me just as much, if not more.
Your Honor, I would say that's probably an argument for her to pay me if we're splitting 50-50.
Interview 2. At this point in the case, Mr. Scott's denial of paternity begins to set the tone. Despite multiple DNA tests confirming that he is the father of Emery, he has consistently refused to accept the results. This pattern, a man denying paternity until legally forced to acknowledge it, is a well-known tactic used to avoid responsibility. However, Mr. Scott's actions tell a different story. If he truly had doubts about being the child's father, his behavior raises serious questions. Why continue showing up at Ms. Golden's workplace? Why engage in bar hopping?
I shouldn't have to pay all of it.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. So you kind of like told on yourself. So you ready to move forward with the numbers?
Sure.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get ready with the numbers. So it looks like you make, like I said, $100,000 a year. Do you work overtime, or is that regularly what you make?
No, I work overtime. But
Okay. And does that include overtime?
yes, ma'am. It's a salaried position, so it's just straight up.
Okay. Got it. All right. So at $100,000 a year, I have your gross at $10,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Before I continue, who pays health insurance?
We both do.
We both.
Okay. How much do you pay?
348 or 386.
386.
Yeah, 386.
Okay.
And I
how
pay
much?
200.
Okay. And you both plan on maintaining those health insurance policies?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, great. That way nobody has to reimburse anybody for health insurance, but because you do carry health insurance and you're going to be ordered to pay child support, I can give you credit for the 386. So that brings your net down to $6,988.19. Which, how many children? Just one?
Just
one.
Okay, so 20% of that brings your child support obligation to $1,391.64.
This moment in the case is nothing short of chaotic. Mr. Scott admits that he woke up with no recollection of how Ms. Golden ended up in his bed, yet is the one expressing anger and frustration. The reality is clear. He consumed the drink, stayed the night, and now there is a child involved. Claiming he was tricked may sound dramatic, but as Judge Vonderby firmly points out, regardless of how the night unfolded or what his intentions were, the result is undeniable. There is a baby, and Mr. Scott is the father. End of discussion.
That should cover any expenses and anything like that because the child is heavily involved. Sounds like an extracurricular activity, excuse me. Are there any other questions?
Nope.
You don't look happy about this. What's going on?
I just think that it's a bit of an exorbitant amount, but we discussed it in the beginning when the split happened. He agreed and
agreed to what amount?
None.
Oh, you're saying child support, but you do understand that as the child gets older and, heavily involved in different activities, I wasn't done.
Oh,
involved heavily in different activities, you understand that expenses increase.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the amount of child support is based on how much money you make. Mm-hmm. Child support is based on a simple calculation. So
now the case takes a dramatic turn as Ms. Golden drops a major revelation. She presents evidence from Mr. Scott's social media accounts, which depict him flaunting large amounts of cash at strip clubs. Despite these displays, Mr. Scott maintains that he earns only $42,000 a year. Ms. Golden challenges this claim, pointing to numerous online posts showing him with stacks of cash, designer clothing, and an extravagant lifestyle, notably with no sign of providing for their child. Mr. Scott insists the money isn't his.
The profession.
Yeah.
Okay. So if there's nothing further, you all are dismissed.
Judge Vonda B. delivered her ruling. Mr. Jaleel Scott is ordered to pay $787 per month in child support. This amount is based strictly on his reported income of $42,000 per year, as documented in his tax return. The payment includes $472 for child support and $315 for Medicaid reimbursement. However, there's a twist. The case isn't necessarily closed. Judge Vonda made it clear. If Ms. Golden can provide credible evidence that Mr. Scott earns more than what is reflected on his tax documents, the case can be reopened. That means receipts, screenshots, bank statements, any form of documentation could potentially bring new developments. If Mr. Scott is indeed hiding income, it may come back to haunt him.
Whether or not child support should be paid. Well, you heard that dad was covering all the expenses for the child to participate in all these different activities. So it warranted mom to be able to help finance those activities for the child. So that's the reason why mom was ordered to pay child support. Do you know of anyone who's experienced a similar situation? Be sure to subscribe to our channel and make sure you comment below. You never know. Their story may end up as a scenario